Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of Unboxing with Paul. Today I bring you the gorgeous iPhone 12, Apple's obligatory yearly release of their phones. Released October 23rd of 2020, this phone has entered a market that can only be described one way: rough. Let's take a look at it. Brought to you this year in 5 colors. This one is blue. It's a rich, deep blue. I'm just a huge fan of. Very, very good looking phone. Like I said, Apple's big thing this year was going green, and that even includes the packaging. You know that it's now a paper sleeve rather than a whole plastic overlay. What they do include nowadays is your USB-C to Lightning connector, and of course your little pamphlet, your SIM ejector tool, itty bitty pamphlet, and your Apple sticker, of course, so that you can flex on people and let them know that you now belong to the highly exclusive Apple Club. And again, just Apple really brought back that sharp, clean body that we all fell in love with the iPhone 4. It never fails that things come and go in cycles. You know, what's old is new, and what's new is old again. And a big thing this year is obviously the rolling in of the 5G, which should be this antenna, if I'm not mistaken. Other than that, a lot of the other communications stay the same. You know, Bluetooth 5.0 is still in there. It still uses Wi-Fi AC. They did put the iPhone 12 on a diet, and it has lost 30 grams from last year, coming in at 5.78 ounces. Or for my metric friends, 164 grams. You are able to use dual SIMs on this phone. Just bear in mind that one of them will have to be a digital SIM. Obviously, NFC is also present, so Apple Pay will also be a part of this phone. I'm not going to go too much into depth discussing the camera features, as number one, I don't feel like I'm qualified enough to be discussing optic specifications in depth, and number two, I don't think that it's too much of a difference from last year. From the iPhone 11s, at least, it feels very similar to it. However, I do have to mention that supposedly it's the first iPhone to feature HDR video recording with Dolby Vision up to 30 frames per second. I also have to mention that the battery is a 2,815 milliamp hour compared to the iPhone 11's 3,110. Yes, it is a reduction in battery capacity, but hopefully with the whole new iOS 14 and these new chipsets, power consumption will be managed accordingly, and will be kept to a minimum to make do. Just like the iPhone 11, it also supports wireless charging, except this time around, fast wireless charging supported in addition to MagSafe charging. Unfortunately, I don't have one of those to demonstrate for you guys, but it seems to be pretty cool. The magnets, the line back here, and you just put it on the little pad and it charges away. And I really have to mention the fact that supposedly this time around, Apple incorporated a harder screen. What does it call it? Screen right now. And it claims to have 4 times better drop performance. They have gone obviously again with an aluminum body, glass back, glass front, but again with a reinforced front that is supposed to be 4 times more drop resistant. I'm not exactly sure what that really means, but hopefully it'll help with the longevity. of this phone, as phones have become such a crucial, integral part of our lives. And speaking of the screen, I am elated to communicate with you guys that this time around we have a 6.1-inch HDR OLED display. This should greatly help with outdoor viewing, along with providing a nicer picture, particularly in low light or very dark environments. It's a really nice looking screen. And again, along with added protection to the screen, Apple has added this time around, they've increased their water protection from 6 meters, from 4 meters up to 6 meters. And for all of you guys that are keeping track and actually doing the math, all it really means, is that this time around you're gonna be able, to dunk your phone in 16 feet of water as opposed to 12 feet of water. The iPhone 12 is offered in 64, 128, and 256 gigabyte variants. For all of you guys that aren't really familiar with it, iPhones are notorious for running out of space very quickly, as everything takes up a lot more storage. From the apps to the pictures to the operating system, everything is of higher quality and thus takes up more space. The iPhone 12 does come with an A14 Bionic chip and 4 gigabytes of RAM. I'll be honest with you guys, I never really looked into Apple chipsets and how they're actually structured, and lo and behold, to my surprise, they are actually hexa-cores. Why is this a big deal? The majority of other smartphones tend to run octa-core processors, and it just got me thinking, why is the newest iPhone running less cores than cheaper Android phones in the market? Well, the reason for that being is that Apple makes their hardware specifically for their software and vice versa. So that means that they're able to accomplish a lot more with a lot less. In addition to that, the fewer cores they do have, they're running at higher speeds. For example, the first 2 cores in the iPhone 12 run at 3.1 gigahertz, and then the other 4 run at 1.8 gigahertz. Again, compared to Androids, which tend to run octa-core processors with 2.0 gigahertz. It's kind of like Apple is able to do, again, a lot more with a lot less, simply because of the fact that, again, they design their software for their hardware and vice versa. Their hardware is meant for their software. I'm curious to see how this phone is going to perform in the long run. It's an Apple product; it's meant to perform well. I'm not really expecting too many surprises there. Hopefully, Apple will continue to improve on the things that they have done good, and they will work on those things that they have been given feedback and advice about. Of course, we have iOS 14, which brings a new layout and has bigger widgets, and again, they lay out your library apparently according to the categories that it may belong to. But again, just besides all the specs and all that good stuff, if you look at it, it's really, really good looking phone. Again, I'm in love with the sharp edges. Again, if you can tell just how flat it is, it's literally a throwback from the past. It literally feels like a really, really big iPhone 5 or an iPhone 4. It's just a gorgeous looking phone. I think Apple has played with everybody's feelings, tugging at our nostalgia heartstrings, and I think they did a good job because it looks well, and it's kind of like what people want right now. I'm sure, and I know I missed a ton of features, but again, I really didn't feel like going into depth too much on those because, in my opinion, they're not too much different from the iPhone 11s, along with all those camera modes, so different functions. Not to mention that I don't feel like I'm competent enough at the moment. And again, if there's other things that you would like for me to cover or that you think are fairly relevant, that you think I should include in this video, go ahead and let me know down in the comments. As always, thank you, and until next time.